So we're coming up at the end of this month, at the end of March, to Holy Week, and a lot of even the sermon theme for this month and the Sunday themes is about the passion tide of Jesus, and passion means suffering, and there's a lot of emphasis on his sacrifice. And I think that's an interesting word that we could talk about because sacrifice gets used a lot very easily. You know, they didn't have the brand of crackers I wanted at the store. I had to get this other brand. I had to sacrifice what I want, you know. So how should we view that as Christians? Either the use of that word, and also more importantly the importance of Christ's sacrifice, especially in a heightened time leading into his suffering and Good Friday and Easter.
I think the word, for me personally, the word, when we consider that it describes what Christ did, I have a hard time understanding how can I even use the word for myself. That he gave up being in heaven with his Father to come to earth, to go through a whole life, to suffer in that life, to be tortured, and then to bear all the sins of mankind and give his life for us. That's a sacrifice. The little things that we have to endure, or even the little sufferings we do, or sometimes we think we're doing something for the church or for serving my brother and sister, I had to give up something. Of course we had to give up something. We have to give up our time. We have to, if we want to serve, if we want to do something in the mind of Jesus, there's giving up something, and there's some even sometimes suffering to go with it.
Yeah.
But it nowhere compares to the magnitude and the depth of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. In preparing for this, I actually looked up the definition of it because I've used it myself. It's like, what does it actually mean in the dictionary? The dictionary says that it's an offering of food or objects or the lives of animals to a higher purpose, particular divine being. So one of the more common definitions is that. It also means about surrendering of something for the sake of something else. So there is this, like you said, giving up, but oftentimes in our human understanding or in our day-to-day lives, that could also just be seen as it's a compromise or it's an inconvenience. It's not necessarily, definitely not anywhere near the level of like sacrifice when we talk about his eternally valid sacrifice. It's even mentioned in the consecration formula around Holy Communion.
I believe even part of the root of the word sacrifice, sacra, has to do with holiness. So when we consider that, and then when we hear those words, one time was a sacrifice brought for us, and it's always valid, which means there's nothing we can do to come into God's nearness or obtain his grace. Jesus Christ did it for us. And he did it once, and it's for all time and for all people that want it.
Yeah.
That come to it.
Yeah, all time meaning like eternally this way,
Yeah,
all time.
Yeah.
The author of Hebrews reminds us of that a little bit. Hebrews chapter 9, 28. We'll start 9:28. So Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many. To those who eagerly wait for him, he will appear a second time apart from sin for salvation.
And I think it's important to highlight, we hear those words, I mean, we've heard it if we've been in church since our youth, once brought, eternally valid. But it should mean something to us when we hear it on a Sunday. And that this sacrifice, this holiness that Christ gave of himself in complete love for all of us, and what he all went through, then it's difficult for me to say that I sacrifice anything. I mean, it doesn't even scratch the surface of his love and what he's given up to help me come near to him and come near to God and come to salvation in the future.
Okay. Well, thanks for expanding on that a little bit. If you have any suggested questions or topics, you can find us on Facebook or Twitter. And this has been For Your Journey.